Oh my God, like
standard New Zealand weather.
Yeah, but it's spring though, so hopefully we're gonna get some good weather coming up.
Hopefully.
Fingers crossed. Hey guys, welcome to another one of our awesome live sessions. We have been away for a few weeks. I hope you missed us. Actually, I hope you didn't miss us, but kind of selfishly, I hope you missed us. But we are back here to answer all your questions about traveling in New Zealand. But why are we answering people's questions? Why us?
Well, this is Robin and I'm Laura, and we are the team behind backpackerguide.nz, which is New Zealand's largest travel guide, and it's absolutely free for you guys to browse at your leisure. But if you are not really into reading, then we do these live Q&A sessions every single Sunday, except for the last few weeks, terms and conditions apply. So we do this every single Sunday at 8 a.m. New Zealand time, which around the world are, I hope these are still up to date, but in the US, that's 4 p.m. EST on a Saturday, or 12 p.m. PST also on a Saturday. In Europe, so UK and France, that's around 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. on a Saturday evening. And in India, that is bright and early at 1:30 a.m. on a Sunday morning. So what we do every single Sunday is we get you guys to come onto the live chat and ask your New Zealand travel questions. But if you do have questions throughout the week, you can send us your questions to any of our social media platforms, which could include the comments section in our YouTube videos. You can send us private messages on Facebook, just search backpackerguide.nz, or on Instagram, again, search backpackerguide.nz. Or you could try Twitter, but we can't really guarantee that.
Nah, don't do Twitter. Let's
just stop with Twitter. Okay.
All right. Good morning, Enzo. Enzo, how are you doing today? Thanks for the early comment, even before we even were live. So Enzo is on YouTube right now, and he's asking, hey, guys, have you been to Chatham Islands? Do you have tips about it? Thanks, guys. Keep going like this. Yay! All right, so no, we haven't been to Chatham Islands.
It's probably the only place in New Zealand we haven't been to.
But on backpackerguide.nz, we do have a guide of the Chatham Island that we did with the tourism board there. So there is a lot of information for you about traveling there. But it's such a remote place. It's super expensive to get there, and there's very little accommodation and things to do. So I don't think they have much tourists going there, I'll be honest with you. I haven't heard. We met one person that went to the Chatham Island, and that's it. So I think it's quite a hard one to get to. So sorry. We also have Tero. Good morning, Tero. Tero Tahitian. Tero Tahitian. All right, we'll go with Tahitian. Oh man, I'm sorry to destroy your name right here.
Let's just move on with what.
So Tero says, me, wife, and 3 daughters, 11, 13, and 15, are arriving in Auckland in mid-December, and we're leaving from Queenstown in early April and early January. Total 20 days. How many days would you spend on Northern and Southern Islands? Where would you celebrate Christmas? It is 1 week from arrival, so Wellington or some near beach, good for that. Cool. So Tero, South Island, we actually have a video about it where Laura and I kind of battle North Island versus South Island. So it really depends. I'm going to talk a little bit about the North Island, and Laura will talk a little bit about the South Island. We'll keep it short because we need a bit more details. But in the North Island, you're mostly going to be doing like volcanic stuff and cultural stuff. So you can go to like Rotorua, where there is all those geothermal activities, and there's also all those cultural Maori places that you can visit, which is really cool. You also have right in the center of North Island, you have a massive volcano. So in my personal opinion, I will put only a third of my time in the North Island, just because you'll be more mind blown, I think, by the South Island. That's really what happened to us, especially also the kids. They probably prefer more like mountains and everything. It's a bit more interactive for kids. What about the South Island?
So the South Island is known for its huge variety of landscapes, and that is mainly what people come to New Zealand to see, is all the amazing landscapes, and you will find the most variety in the South Island. They have the huge Southern Alps going right through the middle of the South Island with all the snowy mountains. So you get to see that. You get to see glaciers and actually do heli hikes on glaciers, for instance. You can go to beautiful beaches in the Abel Tasman National Park. You can see Milford Sound.
Crazy wildlife as well.
An awesome wildlife wildlife all around the country: whales, seals, dolphins, kia, which are alpine parrots. So yeah, it's all about sort of the nature and wildlife in the South Island.
So basically, to split your trip, I'd say about 1 week on the North Island, and then after 2 weeks on the South Island. That's probably how we will do it.
Yeah.
We have plenty of itineraries on backpackerguide.nz where we actually go over like every places and what you should be, I'm doing there, and all the places where we recommend for accommodation. So it's on backpackerguide.nz, and then you have, is it on travel tips, transportation, and then itineraries? Is it that?
I think so.
Yeah, I think it's correct. Oh, yeah. So yeah, I'll go like that. I think the kids will prefer that.
Yeah.
As per Christmas, well, you're gonna have a New Zealand Christmas, so it's very different. Tero just said that he's from Finland.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be cold like you are used to back home. It's going to be really warm, and it's more of a beach thing to do here. So looking at your itinerary right here, if you're arriving on the 17th of December, you're gonna be, if you follow our tips right here, which is spending 1 week in the North Island, you will either be on the northern South Island or at the bottom of the North Island for Christmas. I will actually try to be in the northern South Island. I'll be trying to be around the Abel Tasman National Park.
Absolutely.
Or around Picton. So Picton or Abel Tasman National Park, which is where Nelson is. Just because you have some of the most beautiful beaches in New Zealand, which are just right here. And if you're about to spend a New Zealand Christmas, may as well do it well, which is barbecue on the beach and, or like picnic on the beach. We have a video of literally us having picnic on the beach for Christmas.
Yes.
Just we were around Christchurch, actually. Less fun, but yeah. So I would definitely try to be around Nelson. I think.
Also at the top of the South Island, that is actually known for having some of the warmest climates around New Zealand. So couple that with a beach outing, that's obviously the perfect recipe. So yeah, absolutely, I agree with you. But if you are in Wellington, we do have an article on backpackerguide.nz, which is listing all the beaches around Wellington. So you can look that up as well if it just happens to be easier for you to be in Wellington.
No, be in Nelson or in Wellington. Try to be on the South Island for Christmas. All right. I hope that answered your question, Tero. If it does, just make sure to hit like on the video. Everybody hit like on the video. That always helps us out. And we put some links in the description below when we repost the video. But otherwise, go on backpackerguide.nz and you'll find everything that we talked about. Anyway, next question. Reggie Matthews says, hi, when should I take the NZ ETA for travel by May 2020? Well, in April 2020.
Yeah.
You don't need to plan really far ahead to do this thing. It's very quick. It's very easy. So yeah, it's a smooth as process. We actually have a video about how to actually get the NZ ETA. Laura goes over all that, and we have an article about the NZ ETA on backpackerguide.nz that explains everything. Rugby Lover 81. Hey guys, I'm just back from my trip to New Zealand.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for the fabulous website and this live Q&A. I planned my whole thing using your tips. Hey, that's so cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, you came actually. We were off for 5 weeks, right? But Rugby Lover came for about, I'd say about like 3 or 4 months. You came like quite regularly, coming asking questions.
Time,
Oh, that's awesome to know that. Oh, it makes me happy this morning. Kristen Lendels says, my friend and I have a working holiday visas. We are arriving in October and are strongly considering living in Tauranga. Is it a place you would recommend for young travelers? It's full of young travelers in Tauranga because there is a lot of picking jobs there. So it's fun. It's fun.
Absolutely. So it has a good balance of like the city life. It is one of the like fastest growing cities in New Zealand. So you will get all the conveniences of a city and all the like, bars and clubs and stuff like that. If you're into that sort of thing, but it also has really awesome beaches and sort of like a nearby waterfall. So there's all those outdoorsy activities really nearby that I'm sure if you group with some friends, get yourself a car and you can do some really awesome road trips around there as well.
But aside from that, on top of that, right, we're not really city people. So if you ask us, do we want to live in Tauranga? We'd say no, right? Just because we don't necessarily like cities too much. Although Tauranga is kind of a smallish city. But the great thing about Tauranga is that it's almost like in the center of the North Island on the top, right? And because it's kind of a big city, there's a lot of buses going around everywhere. So intercity buses, for example, they cover all the North Island from Tauranga as well. And if you have your own car, it's really easy to drive out. So it's a great base to explore most of the North Island of New Zealand. You probably won't go lower than Lake Taupo, which is right in the center, just because that otherwise it's going to be just a really long drive from Tauranga. But all the way down to Taupo and all the way up to the North Island, you can explore all that from Tauranga. So it's a great base to do that. And then you can explore the rest when you actually start traveling a bit more. So yeah, Tauranga is pretty cool. All right, guys, if you do have some more questions, keep asking in the live chat. Tiro said, great tips. Thanks, guys. And Reggie say thank you. So everybody's thankful. I like it.
You're welcome.
In the meantime, we are going to be going through some questions that we received just because, well, that is a lot. Reggie actually did ask a question. Reggie Matthews, and he's here. So what about we go for that?
Cool.
So Reggie Matthew on YouTube asked, I've got 3 days in Christchurch, 4 days in Auckland, and 5 days in Queenstown. I need a family itinerary. Plus, I have a rental cars for all 3 cities. All right, so basically you want things to do with kids. And I think he has 3 kids, if I'm correct. I can't remember. We received some message on email or something. Basically, because you're going to be based in those cities, we are going to be trying to find you just activities and things to do with kids in those 3 cities, which is Christchurch, Auckland, and Queenstown. Now, we kind of gave ourselves a few rules when selecting those things, is that we don't want you to drive all the time, since your hotel or your accommodation is going to be in those cities. We don't want you to do back and forth all the time, because the kids are going to hate driving so much all the time. So I mean, I remember being a kid, I hated
and also
the drive.
for the parents as well, it's like quite exhausting.
Yeah,
as well.
You want to do things. You don't want to be commuting, right? You're on holiday, you're not on commute day.
Yeah.
I'm going to coin that joke right here.
That was not good.
All right. So that's the first thing. So basically, in each of the areas that you have mentioned, we are trying to just pick one kind of road trip, and then the rest as fun things to do with kids around those areas. All right, so let's get started with Christchurch.
Yeah.
Where would be your road trip if you have to pick one road trip from Christchurch?
Okay, well, that's a pretty easy one, because less than 2 hours drive away is Akaroa, otherwise known as the Banks Peninsula. It's this awesome sort of, well, obviously peninsula that comes sort of away from Christchurch. It was created by a massive volcano, but now it's like a wildlife hub where you can find some of the world's smallest dolphins there, smallest species of penguins, there's seals. So it's really awesome for wildlife activities, and there's lots of different boat tours you can do. You can do kayaking, you can even go dolphin swimming as well. So all those sort of wildlife activities are usually, kids are pretty impressed with it, and we also did all those wildlife activities in Akaroa.
You can see them on this channel. Actually, you can check you just type Akaroa in the search bar of our channel, and you'll find all of them. It's an amazing place. Absolutely.
On top of that, it's also known as the Frenchest town in New Zealand. So there's a few, it's a quirky looking town. It has a few really good places to eat and just, good photo opportunities.
Yeah, and that will allow you to only have it's not going to be too long of a road trip, which is quite good.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, moving on. The next things you can do in Christchurch, activity number 2, will be to go to the Botanic Garden. So the Botanic Garden is huge. Actually, Christchurch is called the Garden City. So, it kind of tells itself, sells itself. But the Botanic Garden right in the center of Christchurch is really big. There is plenty of really nice walk. Also, because that's going to be your first, city arriving, maybe you want a quieter day, you want to, deal with the jet lag. So maybe that's the thing you can do first.
Yeah.
And you go to the Botanic Garden, you can relax there. There's a ton of different plants, but for the kids, there's a lot of water features which are actually interactive, which is really cool. So, you can see videos of me playing with those things.
Because Robin's a big kid.
Okay. So you kind of pull a lever, and then it sprays some water to something, and that makes something turn, and then it drip a bucket onto something that makes something else turn. It's just kind of fun to play around with. So it's kind of a nice relaxing day. And nearby there is the Canterbury Museum as well, which is it free?
It's free.
Yeah, it's free entry. So nearby there is a Canterbury Museum. So if you're interested in that, if you think that the kids are ready to learn something, take them to the museum. It's free. If you don't think that they're going to want to learn anything, well, don't take them to the museum. And if you take them to the museum and you realize that they don't want to learn anything, it was free anyway, so you haven't wasted your money. So all in all, it all works well. So I say go to the Botanic Garden. That's the number 2.
Okay, and a final thing we'll put on the list to do in Christchurch with kids is the Antarctic Centre. This is located kind of near the Christchurch airport, and it's it's really interesting. Christchurch is the centre of where many countries actually depart to go and do their sort of missions in Antarctica. Missions? Would you say missions? Maybe they don't do missions over there, but they do their research and whatnot. So, the Antarctic Centre has loads of really crazy attractions. There's a room which is like a minus 18 degree room or something like that, where it has like wind. It's like basically simulates an Antarctic storm. That's pretty cool. They also have, loads of different exhibitions.
Yeah, you can see the little blue penguins.
Little blue penguins there. What else do they have? The 4D cinema. So you do like a, it's like where it blows air at your feet and shakes you around.
And it's really impressive for kids, right? You can see all those machinery that they use over there, those big things with the machine chains and everything like that. You can see so much. It's quite fantastic. It's really cool.
It's definitely a kids
really
attraction.
Kids love this thing.
And we do have a video on that as well. So if you want to check it out, just search Backpacker Guide Antarctic Centre.
So far, we've got a little video on everything we mentioned.
Pretty much.
All right, so that's basically the 3 things we do with kids in Christchurch. Now, you mentioned another city, which is Auckland. So what else will we do? What would we do in Auckland? How do we feel 5 days in Auckland and we have a bunch of kids with us?
Yeah, well, the first thing I would do, just because it's one of my favourite things to do in Auckland, is take a ferry from the centre of Auckland to Rangitoto Island, which is a volcanic island with lava fields, caves, and really easy walks to get up to the summit. It only takes about an hour to walk up to the summit, and kids do it all the time. Like, I've seen school groups going up there, so you don't really need to worry about whether it's family friendly or not, because it is. And
lava fields is always impressive for a kid. Anyway.
Yeah, lava fields is really cool. The caves are really cool, and it's definitely a way to spend a day in Auckland.
Now, we did cheat a little bit for Auckland. We gave you a couple of road trips because you're there for a little bit longer, but there's one of them is really short, and that's the one I'm talking about right here. It's Goat Island Marine Reserve. Goat like the animal, island like an island, marine like
fish,
like a fish, and reserve like a good wine. So Goat Island Marine Reserve. It's a really cool place where you can go do some snorkeling, which is really awesome. You can see a lot of fish really close to the shore. It's quite safe to swim there as well, which is really good. There is plenty of really awesome tour. There is a clear kayaking. So it's a kayak, right? So you can take you and one of your kids, and then your wife can have her and one of your kids. And the kayak is actually clear, see-through. So you can see under the water. So you kayak like that. You can see all the fish nearby. It's really awesome. And again, we have a video of that on the channel, so check it out. But I think, like, you see a lot of things, but like kind of interacting with fish in there or with wildlife in their own element. People like kids really do love it. So I think you should definitely get there, and it's not too long of a drive.
Yeah. So if you are spending a day in the city centre of Auckland, one of the things to do is, of course, go to the top of the Sky Tower, which you've probably seen photos of it. It is the highest building in the southern hemisphere. And you can take a lift up to almost to the top, where you can get amazing views of the city. They do a few activities up there as well, but it depends, I guess, how old your kids are.
Yeah.
But they do like the skywalk around the perimeter of the Sky Tower, or the sky jump, which is like a controlled bungee jump to the bottom. Otherwise, you can go check out the cafe. There's a cafe up on the top there, so you can enjoy views while you sip your drinks. And
I think the activities really depends on how your kids behave as well. If they don't behave well, and you just push them from the Sky Tower. Be like, you know what, I'm okay, $200. Here you go, control jump, and then you say, you know what, if you don't go to bed right now, we go back to the Sky Tower. All right, and then the road trip from Auckland, we debated it a little bit between Rotorua and Waitomo, but we think you should go to Waitomo. So the Waitomo cave is super famous. You probably saw some pictures of that with all the glowworms and everything. Kids absolutely love that, and you get so many different options. If your kids are up for a challenge, you can go do blackwater rafting, which is really fun. It's kind of tubings and everything. They absolutely love it. Or if your kids are a bit more kind of a mellow kind, you can just take them through the cave, see all the glowworms and everything. And you know what? They absolutely love it as well. It's a fantastic thing to do.
All right.
All right. And next we're moving on to Queenstown. The first thing, the number one thing to do in Queenstown with kids. No question asked. What is it? We have videos about all the stuff we mentioned in Auckland as well.
Yeah. Okay, so the number one friendly activity in Queenstown, in our personal opinion, is the luge. So you can get a gondola from the bottom of a hill up to the top of a hill, and there they have a downhill go-karting tracks, or at least I think there's 3 or 2 go-kart.
I think there's 3 tracks. I think there's the training one, the mid-jump and the half.
Yeah, so
I'm not sure.
Yeah, so if your kids are younger, you can actually have the kids on your lap while you're controlling the go-karts. Otherwise, everyone can have their own go-karts, and it's just really fun, like really good competitive sort of family-friendly thing to do, going down the hill, catching some speed, turning some corners, and just having a blast. Yeah. It's a really awesome thing.
And if you have young kids, you can take them on your lap. So
that's what I was just saying, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, that teach me to clean my glasses.
I know.
All right. Next one. One of the things that the kids absolutely love is jet boats, and there's plenty of options for jet boats around Queenstown. Especially, one of the most famous one is the Shotover Canyon, because just the drive to get there is epic. You're not driving it; it's a bus that drives you there, because when you see the drive, you will understand.
It's pretty crazy.
And then you have jet boat through a canyon and everything with near misses and stuff like that. Kids dig that so much. Boys, girls, all ages, they love the jet boats in Queenstown. So yeah, but there's also skiing in Queenstown.
Yeah, so if you are there in winter, there are a couple of nearby ski fields, or if you go maybe about an hour further afield, there's 2 more. But yeah, there's really awesome ski fields where they do obviously ski lessons. If your kids don't know how to ski, it's a really cool thing to get them to learn to do. Otherwise, if you are seasoned skiers, it's just another awesome place to ski and just check out what Southern Hemisphere skiing is all about. Because obviously, if you're from the Northern Hemisphere, it would be summer. So yeah, switch things up a bit.
Cool. And then another really fun thing to do is Arrowtown. So it's a small town nearby Queenstown where, it's kind of like a nice, quirky, quaint town. They have Patagonia ice cream, which is absolutely fantastic.
Yes.
Awesome ice creams. But it's a town which is famous for gold panning. There used to be a small gold rush here in New Zealand. And a lot of it was happening around Arrowtown. So you actually can get a gold panning pan and you can go by the river and try to pan for some gold, which is a fun activity to do with kids. Just make sure you set the expectation right. So you tell them you're not going to find gold, or you sneakily just add a bit of gold.
If you carry gold
around, if you happen to have a little bit of gold here and there in your pocket, and just drop them in. But yeah, kids really love it. And if you want to, amp that up, and if you have the budget, go with Nomad's Safari, where they're going to take you with a 4-wheel drive, and you're going to go literally up the river. Like they drive everywhere. It's really awesome. They go through a lot of places, and they actually teach you gold panning alongside in the tour. Guess what? We have a video about that as well.
Yeah.
We got videos of everything. This is crazy.
All right.
Your road trip from Queenstown will be
to go to Milford Sound, which you've probably already heard about. It's probably one of the most famous attractions in New Zealand, famous for its beautiful glacier-carved fjords and just mesmerizing landscape. But from Queenstown, this will be a full-day activity. It is a very long drive, so be aware of that. Make sure you take it easy, do plenty of stops. But once you get there, there's a huge choice of cruises that you can take to take you through the fjord and get close up to waterfalls. It's just basically what New Zealand's all about, like beautiful landscapes, and it's probably, it's one of the most famous places to go for a reason. So make sure you go check that out as well. All right.
There you go. So that is all I think that we would be doing with kids in New Zealand. But yeah, make sure that the kids are not bored in super long drives. And if you do all that, you should have fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, almost everything we talked about, we have videos right here on this channel. So check them out to see for yourself if you think your kids are going to love them, because obviously we don't know your kids, you know them better. And head to backpackerguide.nz, where we list all the things to do in every city, and just pick what you think they're going to like.
Cool.
All right. Like and subscribe. And if you have any questions, in the comments below. In the meantime, I'm getting back to the live chat. Okay. What is happening here?
Heshan.
Oiba, Fabio, hi there. Hey, Fabio, that's been a while. How are you doing? Heshan also, that's been a while too. How is it going for you guys? Mostak is asking, I have applied for student visa in Nelson. Please give me a review about Nelson and job opportunities in Nelson. We do already have a video about that on the channel. So just type Nelson in the search bar of our channel and you'll find that. And an overview of the transportation system in the city. There is only, I think, 2 small bus lines. So it's the transportation system is not that great. So you may have to walk a little bit around the city, but it's a very small city. So you won't have any problem. I personally would not plan my life in Nelson around the public transport. I would just walk around.
Yeah.
It's seriously really, really, really small.
Yeah.
Reggie says, awesome guys, I'll note Robin should be a tour guide and the kids are aged 5 and 10. I wouldn't want to be a tour guide. I'm happier going on the tour.
Yeah.
What's going on? Kuruneko Hong says, hi guys, I used to work in the vineyards in Blenheim. There are many vineyards contractors who violate the law by taking advantage of backpackers and not paying minimum wage for contract jobs. Just a heads up for any backpackers heading to Blenheim in search of seasonal job during winter. That is true. There is always employers that take advantage of backpackers because you guys don't necessarily know the labor laws well enough. That's why on backpacker.nz we have an entire section of the site which is all about working in New Zealand. We explain everything about the minimum wage and all those kind of things. For example, the minimum wage in New Zealand right now I think is $17.70. So if you are paid by the piece or by the tray or by this or by that, you are still have to gain $70.70. So let's say, and it's not the case, but let's take an example right here. Let's say that you get $1 per tray that you make if you do tray making for kiwi fruit. You make trays for 1 hour, and let's say you only make 15 trays in your whole hour. First, you're kind of really bad at your job. And so they can get rid of you if they want to because you're really bad. But if you only made 15 trays, they still have to pay you for this hour $17.70. They have to compensate. The per piece is just an opportunity for you to gain more than what minimum wage is, but they still have to compensate for that. That's one of the examples that a lot of contractors don't do. So you have this right, and they do know the law. Usually, you just kind of have to mention that you know the law, and then they will kind of, okay, fine, I tried, and it didn't work. But yeah, you have to know that, and that's why we spend a lot of time writing articles to inform you guys. So please take the time to read them because, well, we put a lot of effort on it because we do know those are issues. Anything you want to add to that?
No.
Yeah. But hopefully, Kurineko, you're going to have better luck with your next job. To be quite honest, most contractors are taking are very good people and not taking advantage, right? They are definitely the odd one out, the one that take advantage.
Yeah.
Another really good way to actually ensure that you're not having any issue like that is to go with working hostels. Well, you basically pay there to stay in the hostel, but they also find you a job. And so it's kind of like, it works for everything. And so those hostels usually kind of make sure that the contractors are not ripping you off as well. So that's a good tip if you really want to make sure that you get decent. Yeah. But honestly, it's very... It's the other one out. You were just unlucky. All right, Reggie says, awesome, guys. Thank you. Vishnu Lukchtmun. Oh, my Lord, guys. I am so sorry for destroying all those names. I've applied for the University of Otago. Hopefully, I'm coming to Middle Earth in February 2020. Well, we'll try to clear up all the orcs for your arrival.
Yes.
I see a lot that Dunedin is something else from all New Zealand. Why? Thank you guys for everything. Build a CV. Build a CV.
Kiwi CV.
Yeah.
Thanks
Okay.
to you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Cool.
All right. Cool. Dunedin. Why is it different? Well, they call it like Scottish.
It's got a Scottish heritage. So.
It does look different.
So what's different about Dunedin is because it was like one of the main centres for the gold rush that we were just talking about. There was a huge gold rush in the South Island, in the Otago region. And during that time, Dunedin was the main port for all that gold stuff. So that meant there was a lot of wealth, all that gold stuff. So there was a lot of wealth in the city. Therefore, there was grand architecture that was built.
Yeah.
And that's why today Dunedin as a city actually looks pretty different compared to other cities in New Zealand. And yeah, it has specifically, they were fascinated with what's it called? Gothic architecture, different interesting styles of architecture. So that's what makes it different. Also, on top of that, it's close to a place called the Otago Peninsula, which is famous for its wildlife, and it really does.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it has a whole range of wildlife and penguins, seals, and all that sort of thing. And there's not many cities where you can find that sort of wildlife actually so close to the city.
And finally, another reason why it's so different is because it's a really big student city. I mean, look, you're going to the Otago University of Otago, so there is a lot. Like New Zealand is a bit of an older kind of country. Most of the places, most of the towns are full of older people. So having a city like Dunedin, which is literally full of young people, is a bit is very different.
Yeah.
And I mean, we like it.
Yeah.
All right. Mostak MD Mostak says, "Thanks, guys. You guys are awesome. Keep up the good work."
Yay.
You're awesome too.
Was it guys?
Yeah, but you're awesome too. Kuroneko Hong says, "Thank you so much, guys." Yeah, Laura is awesome as well. When you guys say
am
guys,
I not included in the guys?
no, you last. Okay, Vishnu says, "I wanted to go fresh, a Bachelor for Art, but IDP Consular for New Zealand in my country discouraged me. They say it's better to upon the degree I already own human resource. Beck Beta is strict." I don't know what that means, but Bachelor of Arts,
Yeah.
you're never going to get a job out of that. What is that? What is Bachelor of Arts?
I have a Bachelor of Arts.
Yeah,
and
well-
I have a pretty awesome job.
Yeah, but it's nothing to do with arts.
It's not to
God,
do with arts.
no.
But if you have a Bachelor of Arts in something to do that's not to do with arts, then it's good.
Yeah, you do Bachelor of Arts, we don't know what else to do.
Yeah.
My personal opinion. But yeah, it's a debate for another day. It always makes me laugh. All right, cool. So we had a question from what do I want to go for? What about we do Makeup by Monisha? That's an interesting one. All right, guys. When you guys come up with another question in the live chat, I'm just going to go with the question that you guys sent in any comments of any of our YouTube videos. Again, if you're watching this and you are not watching this live, you can't ask your questions. You're like, God, I wish I could ask questions to those two, dashing people right on the camera. Well, just do so by putting it in the comments of any videos, and then I print them. And when we have a bit of time right here, I just go and answer that question for you. So here you go. But best is to show up live. It's every Sunday, New Zealand time at 8 a.m. Anyway, Makeup by Monisha Bat Ija on YouTube ask, "Can you please make a video or address in your live session on the pros and cons of staying in a hostel versus Airbnb? Since hostels are in sharing basis for bathroom and kitchens, the hygiene part is really getting me nervous, especially for the bathroom and toilets." All right, so Airbnb versus hostel. It's a question that we actually do receive quite often. Because Airbnb is growing so fast, a lot of people are kind of considering that as their main way to get accommodation. But there is a lot of big difference. And it's not a clear cut of which one is the best. That's for sure. So let's get started with hostels, right? So some of the pros is that usually hostels are much cheaper. Compared to Airbnb, we find across the board in New Zealand, and we just come back from 5 weeks traveling, right? We've done a bit of everything. And we find that Airbnb are usually rather more expensive than a hostel.
Yeah.
Even if you go for private room, Airbnb tends to be more expensive. The pros of the hostel is that they're clean regularly. They actually clean them every single day, even the dorm room, especially the bathroom. Our hostel in Auckland, they clean the bathroom twice a day because there is, so many people in there. So they clean regularly. One of the main advantage of staying in a hostel is that you get to meet a lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're traveling solo, especially, other solo travelers tend to use hostels, and it's usually a lot of people that are really open-minded and looking for other travelers to do activities with. So if you are looking for a more social experience, then hostels are pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's definitely the case.
Yeah.
Plus, hostels have other services like breakfast and tours and
yes.
and
So hostels do offer different things. It obviously depends on what the hostel is, but a lot of hostels offer free breakfast. They offer, sometimes they offer like interesting things like pudding nights, or they do.
That's in Nelson.
Yeah.
Tasman Bay backpacker in Nelson. Chocolate pudding night. Boom.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
there's like hostels. I know there's one I saw in Napier recently, which does dessert nights on Thursdays or soup nights. Hostels in Franz Joseph, where it's pretty cold, they do free soup and popcorn and stuff on night. So there's like a lot of it's more of a sort of community vibe where they try and do extra free things for people to, get everyone together and just create a more like, pleasant atmosphere. There might be free bike rentals, communal spa pool to take advantage of, or game tables. There's usually a lot of things for entertainment. So yeah, hostels try to create more of an experience where on the other hand, Airbnb is literally just sort of the room for the night.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about Airbnb then now. So now on Airbnb, one of the really good things is that you have privacy. You by yourself almost all the time. Even if it's in a shared house, you have your own room, and you very often in New Zealand you have a sign on the door that goes into the rest of the apartment saying "Do not enter." So you have your own little privacy, and very often you have your own bathroom. Most of the Airbnb will have their own bathroom there. But on the other hand, it's more expensive. It's a solo experience, right? In New Zealand, it's so rare, like so rare. I think out of all the Airbnb we stayed in New Zealand the last 3 years, we met a host once.
Yeah,
that is it. You're never gonna meet the host. You're not staying with local. It's a little bit of nonsense right here.
Or you do have to do some really good research to see if the locals. Usually, you can see in the reviews whether the locals actually do provide that local experience. Otherwise, it's just usually locals wanting to make some extra money with their spare room.
Yeah, so that brings the fact that those are not registered businesses, so they don't rely like hostels on your reviews and making sure that everything is up to standard. So the cleaning is not happening. Like if you stay in a hostel, the cleaning of the bathroom is happening all the time, right? Constantly, as we mentioned. If you stay in an Airbnb, unless you check out, the cleaning of the bathroom is not happening. So you stay in an Airbnb for 1 week, it hasn't been cleaned. So technically, the hostel bathroom is going to be cleaner. That's just as simple as that. So that's one of the things that you need to kind of remember with that. And also, one of the things with Airbnb is that you have a lot of kind of different experiences. It's all over the place. Sometimes you have some places, man, you check in, you don't want to stay there.
Yeah. There's different standards for sure. So, some Airbnbs, they might be really cheap, but that might mean that, there's not much cleaning that goes on, or, different people do have different standards of cleaning as well. Remember that, when you've been to different people's houses, sometimes some houses are pretty dirty, some are really clean, if there's a really anal person that cleans everything. And it's the same, you are going into people's houses where they do have different standards of cleanliness. So you do have to bear in mind that sometimes Airbnb can be pretty dirty, and what the owner considers as clean might be not what you consider clean. So but otherwise there are obviously hosts that are overboard on the cleanliness, and then that's always nice.
One time we had a really, really cool clean place, and then the host showed up with croissants for breakfast, and so you have those exceptional experiences. But in my personal experience, I find that there is much more consistency staying in hostels rather than Airbnb, where it's all over the place, and you have sometimes it's one amazing experience, but mostly you kind of that was a lot of money for what it was. That was a lot of money for what it was. I feel like this is mostly the feeling that we've had in Airbnb in New Zealand.
But the one thing to just also note about staying in Airbnbs or hostels in New Zealand, and the way that people travel around New Zealand, is usually they're moving from place to place pretty quickly. You don't really stay somewhere for a week, where usually if you're staying in a dirty place for a week, that's when things get a bit I wish I wasn't here. But at least with the way that people travel in New Zealand, moving on quite quickly, it's usually just okay, at least I'm only here for one night. And then we can move on somewhere else. Or there might be other options around. You can just say I'm not going to stay here another night. I'm going to try somewhere else. So there's always those options as well if things are really dire.
So you won't suffer the lack of accommodation in New Zealand. That's for sure. So budget, thinking about budget as well. If you consider Airbnb, consider also hotel and motels, because there's similar prices in New Zealand. So you could actually have a really nice kind of historic hotel for the same price as an Airbnb. So consider all your options, not just one or the other. And it doesn't mean that one is better than the other. If Laura and I have to choose, almost every single time we choose a hostel, right? We do like hostel more. We like the experience. We like meeting people. We don't necessarily like just to be just the two of us all the time. It's all about the human experience when you travel. So that's what we would choose. But we are different than others. So you may just want privacy. You just come here because you want to see that mountain and you want to be by yourself. that can be that. So Airbnb, therefore, is really good for you. But don't forget that in between a hostel and Airbnb, you also have motel, you also have a hotel. So check all the options. And we list a lot of them. We list our favorite Airbnbs, we list our favorite hotel, we list our favorite motel, we list our favorite hostels, we list all of that.
Holiday parks as well.
Holiday parks, we list all of that on backpackerguide.nz. So when you go on backpackerguide.nz, click on accommodation, and you've got like literally hundreds of lists of all the hostels. We spend, we just come back from 5 weeks again. We spend our time going to ton different accommodation, doing activities, checking out places, just so you know where to stay and the thing that we recommend. So make sure to check those out. And remember the one thing that we realized, hosts actually don't know what B&B stand for when they host Airbnb. So don't think you're going to get breakfast. Bed and breakfast has been completely lost. Airbnb stands for bed and breakfast. That's what B&B is. You're never going to get breakfast.
Unless stated in the listing.
Yeah, exactly. All right, cool. So that wraps it up, all this Airbnb talk. More links in the description below for you guys. Any questions in the comment below, type them and we answer them. And if you find that useful, like, subscribe, be cool. That's pretty much it. Let's go back to live chat. All right, Vishnu is having a full debate about the Bachelor of Arts. I'm not going to go through all that, but yes, art is fun. We just, it's just kind of saying that in Bachelor of Art is just not necessarily leading to a job, but it's just a saying. It's just a joke. Don't take it personally. It was just a joke.
But one thing that is a funny joke is that he says, "Aren't you two Merry and Pippin, but married?"
Which was Merry? Which was Pippin?
I don't know which one I prefer.
I know. I don't really know what I want to be right here. I think we're going to catch an eagle and live. Okay, MD Mustang says, hostel are cheap, but can you share with us, is messy or is it good experience to live in hostel? We just talk about it. We love staying in hostel. It's awesome. By Fabio says, I had a very good experience in Airbnb in New Zealand. All of the hosts showed up and everything was clean, but it might be different every time. Yes, it is. We did stay in a lot of them and it's very different every time. Vishnu say, are you familiar with visa acceptance in New Zealand? Please help me get an idea if I could apply for a Bachelor of Visual Art despite having already one in human resource. Might say no to this help. Really wants your point of view on this. Okay, so the law in New Zealand states that if you want to give immigration advice, you have to be a registered immigration advisor. Since we're not registered immigration advisor, we do not have the right to give any visa advice. So we have one video about visas on this channel. So please type visa in the comment in the search bar of this channel, and you'll find the information that we can give you about visas. But that is it. Any visa questions? Up straight away to Immigration New Zealand. The answer to emails and phone calls. Sorry for not being any more help, but we just can't. All right. While you guys come up with some more questions for us, we're gonna keep going with stuff. Where are we gonna go? I just want a bit of variety right here.
Yeah.
Not that. Oh yeah, cool. Aline, hello. Aline Hello on YouTube says, hello, I'm looking for something to do around Christchurch. I can't find anything interesting there other than the Peninsula Banks. So I was thinking about going to Castle Hill. Can't find how to get there by bus so far. Anyway, any other suggestions? In short, we're going to talk about road trips away from Christchurch.
That you can get to by bus.
All right, so let's say in Christchurch, you have a few days, you want kind of a bus road trip. You want to get out of the city and you want to do something fun. You don't want to be spending the whole day in a bus. And what can you do? The first thing is Akaroa in the Banks Peninsula. You mentioned it, Aline, in your questions, but I think we should talk about it because a lot of people really do love it. It's awesome.
Absolutely. So not only can you get there with the intercity bus, but there are a few shuttle companies in Christchurch which can take you to Akaroa, which is around, just a little bit less than 2 hours drive away from Christchurch city centre. And Akaroa is famous for its wildlife, especially its marine wildlife. It is known for having loads of Hector's dolphins, which are one of the smallest types of dolphins in the world. And
so cute.
You can see them on various different boat trips. You could go sailing and they usually come and swim along on the boat, or you can even go swimming with dolphins there, which is also a really cool experience. Akaroa is also home to one of the largest little blue penguin colonies in the world. So that's really cool to go there and see the little blue penguins waddling onto shore, usually as the sun is setting. There's also if you go on boat trips, you can also see seals, you can see different types of birds. Yeah, definitely in terms of wildlife, Akaroa is an amazing place to go to, but also the town itself is known for being, the French capital of New Zealand. So you can go there and try some baguettes. They do have French bakeries or French style bakeries. I'm sure Robin would have a thing or two to say about whether they're really French bakeries. And also, yeah, it's just a really cool town with lots of photo opportunities. There's lots of little walks to do around there as well. And Robin and I did spend a long time in Akaroa during New Zealand's biggest gap year, which if you don't know about it already, that's when we did 365 days of 365 activities in New Zealand. So we have loads of videos. If you just type Backpacker Guide Akaroa onto YouTube, you'll find plenty of our videos there.
Yeah, a lot. All right, the next place you can go to, so Akaroa is a little over 2 hours bus journey, right? So you can get there and come back within the same day. It'd be good. Another place to go to is Kaikoura.
Yes, again.
It's about just under 3 hour drive.
Yeah, again, another wildlife hub. It's usually, it's sort of more famous than Akaroa. And Kaikoura is famous for its whales. You can actually do whale watching there all year round, either going on a boat to do whale watching or a really special experience, which really surprised Robin and I, were whale watching flights. So you actually can see the whales from a bird's eye perspective, which is really unique and really cool.
Do we have a video about that?
Oh, of course. We have videos about both whale watching boats and flying over the whales, which is really cool. There's also seal colonies there, so you can just do a walk, and that's obviously a free activity to see seals, so that's a good thing to do. You can do llama walking tours. More importantly, Robin.
No! Don't do that!
You can go on a llama trekking tour. Again, we have a video about that. Very different. And you can also swim with seals, which is absolutely amazing. The seals are really interactive in the water and really curious about you when you're snorkeling with them. So
the company Seal Swim Kaikoura gave me one of my favorite activity in New Zealand, and if you guys are used to this channel, you know we've done a lot. So that says a lot.
And on top of that, there are a few hikes around Kaikoura, but a lot of them you can't get to without a car, so maybe we'll just skip past
Did you talk about dolphin swimming as well?
Dolphin swimming?
Go straight away with whales?
No, just straight with the whales, straight with the seals. But
one of the best places in New Zealand to go to dolphin swimming in New Zealand. So here you go. So Kaikoura, there is quite a lot. Now, if you take a train journey, you can go all the way to Greymouth. So much more than the destination, it's the journey that counts.
Yes. So this takes a beautiful, one of the most scenic train journeys in the world, as voted by many other, tourism magazines, is going through the Arthur's Pass National Park. So this is famous for its beautiful braided rivers. There's snow-capped mountains in the winter, but otherwise just amazing mountains in the summer. And you stop halfway through the journey for a quick stop in Arthur's Pass, like this really small village. And then you go through a super long railway tunnel, which is a feat of engineering. You'll learn all about it on the train journey because they do have those little headsets where you can listen to all the history and stuff, but they also have amazing open viewing carriages, so you can go outside and take loads of awesome scenic photos. Then when you get to the other side where you go to Greymouth, you can actually hop off the train for about an hour or so, check out this little town on the west coast of New Zealand, and then you can get the train all the way back to Christchurch.
Boom. Now, if you want to take about a 3 hours train journey, a bus journey, so we're not train anymore, and that is to Timaru.
Yes, Timaru, again, is a place famous for its little blue penguins.
Oh, we've got a video about that. We also got a video about the train as well.
But Timaru's more of sort of like, if you're into seeing different sort of towns and cities, Timaru is definitely a different sort of town to go and check out in New Zealand. They do have museums and art galleries there, beautiful gardens with like water fountains and a bay called, I think it's called Caroline Bay.
I think it's correct.
Yes. So it's just a different sort of city to go check out. And if you're looking for something, just to do a bit of city sightseeing, Timaru is a good place to go.
And now the longest trip that you could be doing, I mean, or that we suggest, will be about 4 hours bus journey, and that is to go to Oamaru.
Yes, this is a completely different town to any of the rest that we've just mentioned here. It's known for its really beautiful architecture there and some really quirky attractions as well. One of them is the Steampunk Museum, or Steampunk HQ it's called.
Yeah.
So if you don't know what steampunk is, it's sort of like a sort of feature of sci-fi where it also uses like Victorian steam engine machinery. Is that?
Yeah, I don't know how to describe.
Yeah, so
just watch the Mad Max movie. If it looks like Max, it's steampunk.
Yeah. So this
right.
whole museum has sort of like made up inventions and sort of weird art and quirky things to play with. There's a thing called the portal where you walk in and it looks like a weird, just a weird world. Like, we do have a video on this.
It's hard
to describe. So the best thing to do is just watch our video about Steampunk HQ in Akaroa, and you'll see what that's all about.
It's not Akaroa, it's Oamaru.
Oh, Oamaru, sorry. And also, if we haven't mentioned enough about the little blue penguins, Oamaru is another place in New Zealand where you can see little blue penguins. It's probably got a larger colony there than some other places. So definitely another place to get your wildlife fix.
All right, so that's basically about 5 different road trip that you can take out of Christchurch without a car, meaning a bus trip, and you can do that within 1 day, which would be quite cool.
Yeah.
All right, this should keep you busy, Aline. If you do have any extra questions, in the comment below. If you guys find that useful, like and subscribe. And obviously, there is videos for every single one of the place we talk to, every single one of the activities that we talk to right here on this channel. So you can see those two fools right here actually trying those things.
Apparently.
Yeah. You can see us just trying all those activities. So yeah, make sure to check them out. All right, going back to the live chat, what is happening? Margarita Mama, she's back.
Oh,
Look
wow.
at that. Hello from Hawaii. I've been missing you guys. I had so much fun. And you said, oh, come on. How was your trip? Tell us all about it. What did you do? What did you like? What don't you like? Did we actually give you good advice? Tell us right now in the comments.
How was Wellington? Because I think she was staying in Wellington.
Oh, yeah, you stayed in Wellington for quite a while, yeah. But yeah, there is a lot to see, actually. She says, my husband and I can't wait to go back. There is so much to see.
Yeah,
how cool that is. Alberto, Santa Barbara Country, California says, how many NZ dollars should we take with us per day? Assume we also have a Visa credit card. Well, it just really depends on how much you want to spend. I mean, credit cards going to be accepted everywhere in New Zealand. You may have an extra fee of like 2 or 3%. So if you want to save on that, you can take some cash. I'd say $200 a day.
Yeah.
For food and everything, but it really depends how you travel. Some people travel with 50.
Yeah,
I used to travel with 40.
Yeah, exactly. There's all sorts of different types of accommodation. Accommodation ranges from, say, per person, like $60. No, for 2 people, say $60 in a dorm room to $200 a night in a motel room.
That's just cash in your pocket, So,
oh yeah.
I don't know. You need to give us more context, Alberto.
Yeah. How much do you eat? Yeah. Do you eat out, or do you prefer to make your own meals, or do you like to go out and wine and dine? Do you prefer to do paid activities, or do you do free activities for hiking?
Will you have everything booked before?
Yeah, we have everything booked before, or will you just go on the fly and book things on the go? Yeah. So yeah. Lots to consider there.
All right. Alberto also asked, do you both work for the Ministry of Tourism? No.
But they should hire us, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we do most of their job for them.
Yeah, exactly. Right. They should give us some money at some point. But no, we have our own business, which is backpackerguide.nz, where we write a travel guide, and the actually largest travel guide for New Zealand. So if you want to help us out and reward us for all our hard work, make sure to use backpackerguide.nz to plan your trip. It's all free. Just use the information, and the more people goes on there, well, the better it is for everybody. So yeah, that's basically it. Go and find your tips on backpackerguide.nz. No matter what, it's everything we're talking about, just and much more, because we get to actually sit down and think and write everything for you guys. So yeah, but no, we don't work for the Ministry of Tourism of New Zealand. We work with them in some case, but that's basically it. Vishnu says, to travel from south to north, plane, bus, or train, are 3 ways available for one go trip. and they're back again. Okay, so if you want to go from the south to the north end of New Zealand to travel around, you cannot take the train. You should not take the train actually to travel around New Zealand. It's more of an activity in itself. It's not a mode of transportation.
And there isn't a very vast train network in New Zealand. You can only go to very small selected places.
So you're going to be taking the bus, or you're going to take the plane, or you're going to drive yourself. But that's your options. It depends on how much you want to stop along. If you want to just literally go commute Queenstown to Auckland, you take the plane. But try to take the bus so you actually get to stop along the way and you make it a journey. You know, you stop along the way and you make it like a 2 weeks journey, not just a 2-hour flight. Annie Piper say, I'm trying to decide whether to spend more time in Dunedin or the Catlins. What are the highlights on both, and which would you suggest spending in longer? I would spend more time in the Catlins because we're more like outdoorsy kind of people. It's all about the wildlife all the way there anyway. You know, like the highlight for us, and it's our highlight, right? Not necessarily yours, but our highlight would be wildlife. In Dunedin, highlight... Albatross Centre,
Royal Albatross Centre.
Not really a highlight.
There's also the Otago Peninsula is where you get all your wildlife activities. So if you don't want to search for wildlife yourself in the Catlins, you can go on guided tours in the Otago Peninsula. In Dunedin as well, there's plenty of museums. There's some really interesting architecture to try out. Not try out, but look at. There's also, your usual city things like cafes, restaurants, art galleries. Go see some spray painted murals, for instance. So more city vibe in Dunedin. But then when you go to the Catlins, it's more in a sort of more natural wilderness areas where you can again see really awesome wildlife in their natural environment, like sea lions, seals, and penguins. But it's also, the Catlins is also really famous for its variety of waterfalls. So if you're really into waterfalls, there are a ton in the Catlins.
There is also the New Zealand version of Niagara Falls, and I'm going to say nothing. You can watch the video. All the stuff that we just mentioned right now, we have videos about it in the channel where you can see us on location do that. Now, if we have to choose, Annie, I'm personally choosing to spend more time in the Catlins. What about you?
Me as well, to be honest,
So here you go.
Yeah.
MD Mossack says, in Southern, and which city has the most opportunity for a job, for example, business or supply chain related? Christchurch. Miggles Bustos say, what about Raglan? It's awesome. I like Raglan.
Raglan's good for surfing. It's also quite got a hippie vibe about it. So it's all like about the eco-friendly things. There's got a few awesome little sort of small cafes. It is a small town, so everything feels just like nice, small, and local.
Cool. Then we have Rack81710 say, hi, this is Ashwin from India. Hi, Ashwin. How are you doing?
Hey.
It says, how much it costs to rent a budget car? It depends on where you're renting it, where you're dropping it off, and at what time of the year. So we can't really give you a price right here, but it can go from like, $25 a day, $200 a day. Really depends. But if you go on backpackerguide.nz and you go on transportation, you click on transportation, and then you go to backpackerguide.nz and travel tips. Then you click on transportation and you go rental cars. We list all the budget car rentals. We go for like all the different kind of prices. We give you a lot of information, and you can click straight away and go book it with them directly with the companies and everything like that. So very simple to use. So go there and you'll be able to compare prices, because if we don't have your dates or anything like that, we can't tell you. And they change all the time.
Our biggest tip would be to actually save the most money on car rental is to travel in the low season, which is New Zealand's winter time. And that is between June and September.
Yeah. Alberto says, just me and my wife. We are looking for help planning our trip 30 days. We have 3 months to cover Australia, New Zealand, Fiji, and Cook Island. A week in the Cook Island, a week in Fiji, a month in New Zealand, and a month in Australia. All right, cool. So while you're in the right place, if you actually go on, again, I keep on saying that, but we don't work for the Ministry of Tourism, but we have a lot of websites for you. So if you go on backpackerguide.nz and you go to travel tips and then transportation, you have our itinerary. We actually have a 30-day itinerary in New Zealand, and it's really good. This is something that sometimes we just had 5 weeks holiday right here, so we kind of did that. So it's a really cool itinerary, and you go with that. We go through like where you need to stay, where you go, what's there to do there. And it's really all done for you. And if you're planning on going to Fiji, you go on fijipocketguide.com, which is another one of our website actually. And you have trip ideas on the side. And same thing, we've done itineraries for everybody. So all the places that we know, we love, and they're all done. So here you go. Out of your 1 month in New Zealand and 1 week in Fiji, they're already sorted by just going onto those two websites. So it's Fiji Pocket, like a pocket, and guide like a guide. So fijipocketguide.com and backpackerguide.nz, and you literally have those itineraries. You got nothing to pay us. It's all sorted for you, and just enjoy. There's a lot of itineraries made by like travel companies and everything, but you know, there's always an agenda, and they just sell you what they can sell you. We just give you what we think you should do.
Make fun itineraries.
Exactly. We just tell you what is actually fun.
Yeah.
All right. Vishnu says, thanks. I watched your 10 life lesson after the gap year earlier. And like you said previously, and now it's the journey that counts. Yeah,
Absolutely.
It's very true. Margarita Mama says, yes, you gave us such good advice. Oh, yeah, that's about our trip. So Margarita Mama came here and kept on asking questions for a couple of months before a trip. And feedback. You gave us such good advice. We missed a day in Wellington due to a delayed flight. Oh, no. It was windy and cold, but so much fun. We went to the Weta and all over Wellington. We ate a lot then.
That's the thing to do in Wellington.
When you are in Wellington, you eat a lot, that's for sure. Annie says, definitely into waterfall. Thank you for the advice. No worry, Annie. Say, check this video where we see Niagara Falls. So just type Niagara Falls in...
This is not the waterfall that you want to show in the Galleys.
Yes, you do.
That's the worst waterfall in the Galleys.
And it's really funny. But yeah, no, awesome waterfalls in the Catlins. You're really going to love it. Amazing pictures opportunities. We actually got one of our pictures in the waterfall called Macklin Falls. We actually just got it printed on the canvas because we want it for ourselves. Yes. It's that good of a waterfall. So we literally just ordered it a couple of days ago. So it's that amazing. Maybe also because there's our faces on that picture as well.
Yeah,
obviously. Yeah, of course. All right, cool. Margarita Mama says, we also visited Martinborough wine region and did a day trip around there. It was a lot of fun.
Wine.
Was it a lot of fun when you begin with or after drinking all the wine?
It's usually a lot of fun after your 21 sip of wine.
Yeah, we have some videos of us doing wine tasting in those areas. And the videos become a bit more shaky as it goes. It becomes more shaky.
Yeah.
All right, Tero says, if we have multiple places to visit on each island, do you know a good website that could create best routes for the trip going through all those places? Honestly, we use Google Maps. So the way we do itineraries, right? And you can go again, backpackerguide.nz, and then you type itineraries, and we've done a lot of itineraries for you guys. Like literally, it's like 10, 20, 30 itineraries that we've done, depending on what type of travel you like and all of that, and the timing that you have as well. We have really a lot. But the way we do it is that we kind of put all the place we want to visit in Google Map, and then we're like, okay, this itinerary kind of work together, and then we see, okay, we're going to add a place here, we're going to add a place there, we're going to add a place here. So the way we now plan, because we've done all the research, we go on our own websites, literally, we read our own stuff, and we go for the itinerary that we have, and we kind of like book all the places we want to go to and everything like that, and then we add things in between if there's things that we want to add and remove. But, because we've done all that work, we literally list all the things to do and where to stay and everything. It's already there, so may as well just use it. So yeah, that's what we do. So again, backpackerguide.nz, travel tips, transportation, and then itinerary samples, and bam, you're all sorted. MD Mossack say, I'll know that. Please mention also which category the highest wage for part-time and full-time. No idea. We're not job experts, so I do not know. Pretty sure banker makes a lot of money. But what we do doesn't make a lot of money. Margarita Mama says, we also did the train ride from Wellington to Masterton, and we highly recommend that to anyone. The view of the countryside were amazing. We spent most of our time there. It was so relaxing. If you like the train ride, try to do the Transalpine next time you come. It's on the south and it's amazing. Rack 81710 Ashwin says, I'm coming with my mother this month 18th and planning to stay in New Zealand for 20 days in New Zealand. Should we spend more time in the southern end or northern end? We are more interested in agriculture.
That's interesting.
So southern end and agriculture? Around the Canterbury Plains, around Christchurch and everything, southern end. But we do have a video about debating between northern and the southern end.
Well, we literally talked about it at the beginning of this video. So all you need to do is just put that line at the beginning of this video, and you will actually get us talking about that. So yeah.
And it looked like Margarita Mama did inspire Vishnu. He said, eat a lot. I might consider Wellington instead of Dunedin now. Which area of the two is cheaper to live in? Dunedin, cheaper.
Yeah.
Cold and facilities of job attract me. But then again, I need expert advice. Dunedin, stick to Dunedin.
Stick to Dunedin. Yeah.
What is that? You change your mind just because someone said they eat a lot. You can eat a lot everywhere.
Follow your heart and go to Dunedin.
No, Dunedin is awesome.
Yeah.
Anyways, thank you guys for joining us for this awesome live videos. We'll be back here next week at exactly the same time. That is 8 a.m. on Sunday, New Zealand time, which is Saturday all around the world. So Saturday, if you're in USA, it's 4 p.m. EST, 12 p.m. PST. If you're in the UK, it's 9 p.m. If you're in France, it's 22 on Saturday. And in India, it's 1:30 a.m.
On a Sunday, that is.
So yeah, if you guys have any extra questions in the meantime and you're watching a rerun of this video, put them in the comments of any of our video. And yeah, we're here to help. And yeah, come back next. If it's 11 p.m. in Finland, if you are in Finland. I don't know how many people watch in Finland, but Tero, we're seeing you next week at 11. Anyway, thank you so much for joining. Remember to watch all the videos that we tell you to watch, because there is so much more information in all those extra videos. And head to backpackerguide.nz, because again, it's the time when we actually can sit down and for 3 hours research those things, write the whole article. So it's much more than just short time. And if you're in Chile, we see you next week at 5 p.m. on the Saturday. So yeah, thank you, Miguel, for that. So yeah, I like it. You guys are from everywhere. It's just awesome. Cool. Anyway, thank you so much for everything, guys. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
See you later.